she would come onto a journey of her own and get a full ride to Harvard. So I want to honor her with that. It took a lot of hard work, and want to certainly recognize our vice mayor. I mean, you talk about Black power, the sister here is standing in a measure of strength and power, and how she's leading here in the city, and how she is influencing decisions regionally, and how her life story is impacting the very industry that you all are leading and really helping to build upon. And so I just want to recognize my sister. Thank you, David. Wow. I mean, your legacy is deep. My cousin Tarika Lewis is, a Black Panther. But your family's legacy and the work that you have led, and just to stand alongside you in a community in our generation, it brings me to tears to know that we are that living legacy that is really accountable to how we carry out what our families have invested deeply into Oakland and beyond Oakland. And so I'm honored to come up on this stage after you, my brother. So thank you. I love you. We talk about Black power. We are Black power. I mean, you think about your life journey. I just gave you a little snippet of mine, but we are Black power. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. 68 years of you leading and doing the work that they tried to shut us out of. I mean, think about what our people lived in and what we didn't have to live in. And the fact that now you're leading in this statewide organization, working to equip, working to empower, working to invest, and to educate and bring us into paths of generational wealth equity that our ancestors couldn't even begin to imagine. Leading in cities, leading movements, and still movement alive. The movement is still alive. Like, imagine what our ancestors set in those dark, dirty, dungy homes, shacks, sheds, under trees, thinking about what freedom could look like. I'm standing in awe of this moment that you all are actually leading the work that had been prayed over. You are an answer to prayer. And I know sometimes in the work that you're leading, you don't feel that. You want to give up, throw in the towel, move. I encourage you to stay in Oakland. And if you're in East Oakland, please stay in deep East Oakland. The demographics of Oakland have shifted tremendously from when we grew up. Imani? We used to be deep in power in Oakland. And now we're trying to grasp hold of that power. Our population in the census, the one demographic that had a decline were Black people. Every other demographic in this last census had an increase. And Black people, we went down to 22% in Oakland. And so the struggle is real for us to hold on to the power and the presence and the ability to influence and impact decisions that impact our life today, and how we, like our ancestors, pave a way for generations to come to live and thrive and stand in seats of influence, to craft policies and to legislate and to ensure that those of us Black people who've been the most disenfranchised and disinvested in this city can have people standing in the seat that I serve in today and those days to come that will make sure that we drive for equity, that we drive for the transformation that I believe that you're leading in your worlds every day. And so I'm inspired by you. I'm in awe. I believe that our iron is sharpening each other. I'm able to stand here because you inspire me. You may be there because I inspire you. Having somebody, as David shared, up in a seat that's really called to make decisions to impact us. I am unapologetically Black. Amen. And I'm someone who has certainly lived and endured the path that you're helping to bring others on. I want to give a shout out, Maureen. You mentioned Miss Georgia Richardson, and my heart nearly stopped. She was my mentor, my sister, my mother, my friend. We shared a lot in the journey of me coming onto council, but my family goes back deep with Mrs. Georgia Richardson. And she also led me to making sure that I invested into this organization, into organizations like yours. I'm a member of the Women's Council of ARPB. My bonus mom, Kim McGuire Reid, certainly was a president. You know, my father, Larry Reid, was a champion of the work that you lead. But as a single mother, I had to live out a part of what you're helping to fight for. My childhood was growing up living 20 to 30 deep in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. I come from a large family. My father's siblings, there are 10 siblings. And I'm one of the oldest, what we call the starting 5 of 135 plus cousins. So living the weight of housing instability, house hopping, one cousin's auntie's house, couch, floor, pallet, tripled up in bunk beds to the next. I didn't even know that was housing instability. We just made it a party everywhere we went. Like, this is the situation. But we never let anyone sleep outside. We never thought that we would see a condition like we have in Oakland, where nearly 70% of those who are unhoused in our city are Black, and 80% of them are Black men. That is shameful. It is a disgrace. It is unacceptable. And every policy that we drive should deliver on making sure that they are provided housing and life stability. I think about when I was living that season of my life. My parents were married, my parents were divorced, my parents remarried each other, my parents divorced each other again. Wasn't a lot of counseling care back then. But all of that transition and not having housing stability really disrupted our life. Moving from one school to the next, one neighborhood to the next, and then becoming an adult. And the struggle became real. Living paycheck to paycheck, coming off of welfare and WIC, graduating from Hampton, getting a good job, but then not qualifying for certain, programs, for rental assistance or housing. But I thank God that there was a program that I was able to qualify for that brought me into my first moment of home ownership. I was able to take advantage of tax credit programs, tax abatement programs, home buying programs, down payment assistance, learning how to maintain my home. And that shifted not just my life in that path of generational wealth equity, but there had not been, in that family that I mentioned on my father's side of 10 siblings and 135 plus now cousins, no one except for my cousin Jerry, AKA Jelly Roll, and I purchased and built our first homes in 1999 together the same month, unknowingly. And that inspired our parents to become homeowners. That inspired every last one of those aunts and uncles who saw their nieces and nephews doing something that they hadn't done and hadn't seen done yet in our family to become homeowners. And that legacy now in our family is a legacy that I'm so proud of. When I see my cousins buying homes, I'm like, hey! Like they see it, they believe it, they've now lived it. Mr. Dennis had us renting house after house after house after house from him, paying him a lot of good money in our family. All we knew was Mr. Dennis. And now we know that our names are on these homes and the legacy that we're establishing. And that's because of the work that you're leading. That's because of your commitment to making sure that all the goals and the missions of your organization you are leading out on. I know that Maureen and Eric and Joe asked me to talk about some specific things that can sometimes impact you. And as a leader here, certainly as a business owner here, we know that the crossroad of crisis that we're in Oakland is really impactful for you. To get people to come look at properties, to stay in their properties, to get legacy homeowners to keep their properties in Oakland. And that crossroad of crisis is a lot of different areas, but we know specifically public safety has been one that has really challenged all of us. We've all had enough of how it's impacting you, your business, your clients, your families, and certainly me feeling the weight of that on my watch here in the city of Oakland. I came into this role with that deep well of love to lead with integrity and to really fight for the people that I serve based on what I've lived. And so when we talk about public safety, we all know that it's personal for us because every Black person has experienced some measure of public safety threat or crisis all the days of our life. But it was this month in 2013 that our son Brandon's life was stolen from us. 20 years old, I was working for then Nancy Skinner when she was in the state assembly, now our state senator, helping to lead out on violence prevention packages and bills, helping to fight at the state level for what we wanted to do to keep people safe. And our son was lost with one bullet as we were leading out with her bullet bill. And so as we're in this time of crisis and violence, crime rising, and us all feeling traumatized, too many living in fear and held hostage in their homes or not believing that they can stay in their homes, I come to this seat with like, what can we do? What are the real strategies and solutions? What are we really investing? And Vice Mayor Courtney, my sister, and I know that it's going to take a regional strategy, that the issues that are impacting Oakland are bigger than Oakland. It's going to take us to come together with something that Council Members Jenkins, Councilmember Ramachandran, and Supervisor Miley and I are launching, and certainly we know that Vice Mayor Welch will be there with us to drive for a regional public safety task force. We got to leverage every resource, technology tool, everybody. If we don't have enough, what do you have? And when can we get what you have to show up on these streets? I serve the gateway into this city at the Oakland Airport, and that part of our city has been under siege for 24/7 over 2 years. But it's because of the magnitude of the crisis in this entire city that we are now getting resources deployed to us in deep East Oakland. And so we are seeing that regional collaboration of CHP out on our streets who can do some things that OPD is not able to do. We are seeing historic investments into violence prevention, intervention, and healing and trauma care. Right now at Oak Stop, our Inspector General and a number of organizations are leading a conversation on healing and trauma care for our community. This is Love Life Week in the city of Oakland. Our motto is Love Life. And so we've got to disrupt everything that comes to counter life and being life-filled and lived out in our city. And so there are discussions like that that are taking place today. But we've now got foot patrols in our business corridors. We now have community safety ambassadors, people from the community serving our community with eyes and ears on the ground who know a number of the people who involved and engaged in some things. And we launched that strategy in December in the Hagenberger corridor and the Foothill Boulevard corridor in Oakland. And we saw through the Black Cultural Zones partnership with us getting some people that look like the neighborhood, serving the neighborhood, a shift in 3 months. And so I proposed $1 million go into that for us to have that in expanded corridors, and it was adopted into this budget. And so you will see us hiring and paying people from the community to also be a part of our public safety strategy. We've got cameras that we just approved. Don't know how you feel about surveillance, but I'm okay. If you want to come in here and terrorize, we want to find you and certainly offer you some second chances if you so choose. And if you choose not to, then we've got to talk about what the consequences and accountability and what actions we can take. When we've got 9 and 14-year-old babies, our babies, out here armed, robbing, carjacking, and we're not able to manage that crisis and get them the support that they need, or a family violence prevention plan for the generational cycle of public safety threat in that family. And so that regional body will bring us together with probation, OUSD, the Department of Violence Prevention, Caltrans, BART, Oakland Housing Authority. Everybody's at the table. And I hope that there could be a representative from your body that join us on this regional task force to give input as business leaders at this table and labor leaders at this table, and faith leaders and community partners are critical to how we come through this crisis. I want to also just acknowledge, when we talk about public safety and we talk to a group of our Black community members, we just passed at the state level a historic alert to protect Black women and youth. It's called the Ebony Alert. SB 673, led by Senator Bradford at the state level, led by me here in the local level, in partnership with him in a statewide coalition, delivered on this historic alert that we should not need. The Amber Alert should be sufficient, but we've got the Silver Alert for our elder community gyms. We have the Feather Alert for our indigenous community, and now we have the Ebony Alert. And that alert will hopefully drive more attention and resources and media and response more immediately to protect and bring home our Black girls and our Black women and our Black boys. In Oakland, the missing reported list showed last that 1,500 people were missing in Oakland. Now I told you our population is what for Black people?
22%.
22. 60% of those who are missing in Oakland are Black. 500 Black men and boys, 400 Black men and girls. That is a crisis. And I believe that this alert will help us. One, we need to prevent on the other side. Our babies shouldn't be kidnapped, attempted to be kidnapped. Baby girls are getting catcalled and pictures taken of them on their bus and their walk home from school. But this is a measure that I hope will help us to bring them home. How many of them 1,500 of you have you seen publicized? You done seen all these everyday media alerts, every news channel, they're talking about everything else. But we don't see that drive and that commitment to show the face of Black girls and Black boys who they often mischaracterize. They're in a group, they're in a gang, foster kid, having some problems. No, bring our babies home and put every resource with immediate attention and action that's deserved. Don't ask me 4 months later what happened to that Black girl. Go find her, go find him now. I can leave with you, so that I don't take up too much time, all the different public safety measures and deep investments that we're putting to restoring a 911 system. The data showed when I came into office that Black women are traumatized and are re-traumatized the most in Oakland because when they call 911, no one answers the phone. And it's taken the fact that the state want to take our money away, that now we want to fix the 911 system. Now we're going to benefit from it, but again, it continues to take these types of issues that draw attention to the needs of communities like ours, that we're trying to get the dedicated response and resources that we need. In Oakland's 171 plus year history, we've never had a policy to deliver equitable service with response. 171 plus years. I was able, in this last budget, to get a policy directive where the city administrator will come back with a framework for us to weigh in on, with every department being responsible to tell us how they're going to deliver equitable service, regardless of where you live in Oakland, with the resources, the investment, the budget, the operation, whatever is needed to prioritize service. We're starting with public safety. We're starting with illegal dumping. We're starting with homelessness encampments, clean and clear crews. I've got 200 encampments in my district alone. And that's impacting your ability to sell some homes. It's impacting your property owner's ability to even want to desire to put it on the market, not knowing if they can show somebody the conditions, not just their home, but getting off 580, coming down 98, turning right on Bancroft, turning left on 102nd. Because like you, I'm taking pictures all along the way and reporting, particularly in my district that makes up 2 districts that carry 50% of the weight of illegal dumping and trash and blight and abandoned, burned out, stolen vehicles. It is unacceptable. So I need you to join me. I need you to join me at City Council. I need you to put a demand on a body that requires 5 votes to deliver for you and to deliver for me and to deliver for us. That's the type of power that we need to leverage in a system to disrupt policies and procedures and practices that have existed in the town of the Black Power movement for over 171 years. Shame on us when less than 2% of our business contracts, billions of dollars, go out the door in Oakland, and less than 2% go to Black women and Black-owned businesses. This is the seat of the Black Power movement globally. We gotta do better. And we are the Black power that's alive to influence and impact it. And so as we gather today, come gather with me. I'm here with Haley Hester, my chief of staff. You can find out every time we meet. And one of the things that we have proposed just over the last 2 weeks, I serve on Public Safety Committee, I serve on Public Works and Transportation, I serve on Life Enrichment, I chair education partnership with our Oakland Unified School District trustees. But we just put in our Life Enrichment Committee meeting for our community gyms, our elders, the ability for them not to have to show up to a commission meeting that's focused on serving them and investing in them and prioritizing them, to have to come all the way down to City Hall in the dark, at night, they tired. They shouldn't have to. So we just proposed, no, you take the meeting to them. You go to East Oakland Senior Center. You go to West Oakland Senior Center. You go to North Oakland Senior Center. And we began to meet and establish technology tools and resources for them to get that service. I want to encourage you, and I'm going to wrap up. I know I can tell you about a number of housing things, but y'all probably all know them. How many of y'all are on the Black Hat, the Black Housing Advisory Task Force? Well, we're calling on the state to give $1.5 billion into Black housing initiatives, into Black developers, and a number of things wrapped up in there. Locally in our region, we were calling for $500 million just for 9 counties. Well, we can look at East Palo Alto, we can look at Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco, San Jose, and look at the displacement numbers. It's 40% displacement of Black people in Oakland, 60% in East Palo Alto. I can give you the numbers later. But we were putting a charge on the state for just some regional commitment of $500 million. And as we launched out with this Black Housing Advisory Task Force, we realized the whole state is crumbling in the Black community. And so we charged the $1.5 billion. We haven't gotten the full support of this measure, but it's now being wrapped into the reparations. But I ask you to stay engaged and involved with us securing the multi-billion dollars statewide and multi-million dollars that we deserve to fund your initiatives, to fund programs that you have fought for in the city of Oakland, like MAP and Town Connect and all these. Like, we've got to get those home buying, home ownership, mortgage assistance programs funded. Legacy home ownership programs. So, and then BAFA is a regional Bay Area fund that we are looking to create $10 billion to $20 billion in a regional housing bond dedicated to funding affordable housing, so that we can get projects like Auntie Elaine Brown's project and others. She's got the 79 units at 7th and Campbell that I'm so excited about. It's the Black Panther affordable housing, 100%. She's trying to get another project on Telegraph for 300 plus housing units. We've got Ron Baptiste. If you know Oak Knoll, Ron Baptiste was born at the Oak Knoll Naval Hospital, and now the 5 acres of that land in my district, I advocated to ensure that that Black developer gets to build on the same land that he was born in. And that Oak Knoll project, the market rate side, doesn't have some developers tied to it right now. We need you. If you want to know more about that project, it's supposed to build 945 plus units of market rate housing outside of the 5 acres that we worked to secure for Mr. Baptiste and his development firm. I will just close and ask you to join me. And I'll give you all the housing wins that we have for Oakland later. Measure U is a 850 bond measure that we just passed in November. 350 of that million will be going into deep affordable housing. And we need some more deep affordable housing. But I just want to give you opportunities to partner with me. We've got a community safety task force day of action that we have 3 to 4 months out of every year. And our young realtors are the bomb. They've been out there on the street with me on International and at Foothill Square, working with me and 30 community-based partners. You are welcome to join us to give out every resource that you can imagine that people need, Black people. My district is the blackest and brownest district in this entire city. And we go out there on the street, housing, information, homelessness services, healthcare, food, clothes, jobs, everything that they need. And our young realtors have been out there like bosses on that street, making sure that we touch the part of this city and the district that's the furthest from City Hall where the decisions are being made, showing up with real love on the streets. We also have our annual food drive. My father started this. I've continued that legacy of showing up, serving our seniors, and I've certainly added single parents. That will be in December. Please join us as a volunteer. We'll have tabling opportunities for free. You can table, you can show up and engage with our senior and our single parent neighbors. We have monthly senior and faith leader coffee chats. Well, we meet at the East Oakland Senior Center, our Youth Uprising. Our next one is this Wednesday at 9:30. We partner on the same day that Alameda County Food Bank meets with our seniors so we can give them all the food, love that they need. We pack every bag that they can fit in their car so that they can go home with food and information and the resources. We have a homeless resource fair, 2 of them, on November 9th at International and Hagenberger at Faith Deliverance Center. We're having a homeless resource fair in partnership with Supervisor Miley and Councilmember Jenkins. We want to serve 200 of our unhoused neighbors, and we've got about 100 volunteers. If that's an opportunity for you to partner with us or just to come as a volunteer, we want your help serving our community, and we know the majority of them will be Black Oaklanders who need to get moved on to their next step with everything that we're going to give them that day: showers, food, clothes, everything. And then on November 18th, we're having a homeless resource fair. We're premiering a movie called A Rising Tide. It's based on the housing market and the issues that we faced here, the deep issues of redlining and the history of that my brother David spoke about. November 18th at Youth Uprising. And then on December 9th, we're having a public safety town hall. Join us at the City of Refuge from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. My sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and the number of local chapters of Delta will be coming together with Supervisor Miley. We're looking to see if the DA's office, Assemblymember Miabanta's office, and many others will be partnering with us for this conversation that I believe that you should be at the table and be a part of. Thank you for giving me this additional time to share my heart. We love you and we appreciate you.